guys, Mike back again. Part 7 of the Q&A. It could go 9 parts, but it could go 8 parts. We'll see. See how quick the questions are to answer. We're on question 64 of 91, so we are on the home straight, really. First question on this section is from Eddie Headland, who asks, when are you going to start working on the Victory again? I'm building the same model and I'm just finishing the hull. The hull is very satisfying once you get finished with the hull, although you prepare yourself for lots of sanding and lots of finessing on the hull when you finished it, but it's a great feeling once that hull's done. When am I going to work on the Victory again? I'm not sure, actually. It's I tend to, again, I've spoken about sort of compartmentalising my hobby life, and because the Victory is all consuming, like I said before, takes up so much space, takes up so much time, and I don't feel I can do anything else while the Victory's in my head. I tend to do it in blocks. So I've completed up to issue 80, so I've got 40 issues left to go. So I'm 2/3 of the way through that, and I'm going to be building loads of new. I'm building masts and spars and yard arms and stuff. So that's what I've got to look forward to next. So this year, I would imagine, when I've got some time off, sort of nearer Christmas, I expect I'll probably knock out Victory again and do sort of 10 issues maybe. But I'm quite enjoying painting like models at the moment. So there. War Games, Martin up in Southport. Congrats, buddy. That Nick one is okay, isn't he? So yes, that's reference to Nick being a legend. Go and watch Idic Beer is a Legend video a few back. So his question is, when are you getting up to Southport? This is Martin McNeil, who owns War Games up in Southport. I've not been up there, actually not been up there since it's finished, and every time he shows the shop on camera, it looks better and better and better, and I really do want to get up there. I went up there once. I think I was Zombie 3 in his zombie promotional like video, which was really cool. So it was a right mess. It was like a derelict building, really. I mean, the structure with stairs were there and stuff, but I mean, it was a right mess. And what he's done to it is absolutely amazing. So really do want to get up there. Unfortunately, it's not on the way to anywhere. I go up to Scotland for work sometimes. I go to Sunderland for work sometimes, and Hull, but it's the wrong side of the country. So I don't get up to like Southport way, and it's so I'm going to need to work something out. But anyway, so soon I hope. I mean, I do want to get up there. Silver Skull Gamer says, congrats man, great prizes. My question, let's say you're cast in the warp and must choose another non-tabletop gaming hobby. All of your miniatures will be cast into dust and you'll be granted an equal and monetary amount to spend on your new hobby. What new hobby would you choose? Interesting. I'm kind of interested, never done it though. I've been interested in I don't know. See, I've just thought about something. I thought about like building PCs and stuff. I quite like, because I was doing electronics and stuff for my rocketry. So like building electronic sleds to hold my Artemises and stuff. And I enjoyed all of that. And I always think that I'd quite like to build my own PC. And then I thought maybe video gaming, but I mean, you know, it's kind of maybe video gaming, building PCs. Although I've always really been interested in kind of mechanics and making. I've always liked making stuff. So maybe, you know, like I don't know, some sort of car mechanic type stuff. You know, fixing my own car properly and building PCs and that kind of stuff maybe. David Pemberton asks, congrats, what's your favourite out-of-the-box model? He says, favourite out-of-the-box model? Do you know what? I think it's the Cerastus Knight. I really do like that model. Not technically out of the box, out of the bag, but the Cerastus Knight, all variants from Forge World. I really like that one. Jason Pryor. Great achievement, Mike. Always fantastic content. Thank you very much. Question, which is your least favourite model you have painted and why? Do you know what? It's the whole of my Death Company is my least favourite section of my army, I think, because I've got so much Death Company, and I went through a phase. I've got hundreds and hundreds of points of Death Company, jump packs, infantry, drop pod, couple of rhinos, all the chaplains. Although my chaplains are better, my chaplains are more nicely painted than my Death Company, and I mean, I sort of think, oh, I'm going to go back and repaint stuff because I can paint better now than I did 5, 6, 7 years ago, whenever. But yeah, my Death Company I'm least pleased with because of the black, and now, and I think I'm going to want to try and rectify that in my head with the Death Watch, because they wear black armor as well, and I'm much more proficient at painting black armor now. So the whole of my Death Company, I mean, they're okay. I mean, I'm not ashamed to show them. But again, I think it gives you that progression, because I've got miniatures in that cabinet that I painted years ago, and miniatures in that cabinet I painted last week. And you do see a progression of things, and it kind of just reminds you where you were and where you are now. And I think you're always developing your skills, and I try to improve every time I paint a miniature, to try and do something a bit different, to try different skills, different techniques, try and do a bit of weathering, try and just make it nicer and neater. So yeah, Death Company aren't my least favourite models, but they're my least favourite painted models in the cabinet. I like the models, but my paint job is, it could be better. But there we go. That's progressing, isn't it? That's developing. AKA Star Miner. Cool contest, Mike. I've loved your channel since I discovered it so long ago. Thank you very much. Thanks, and congrats on 2,000 followers. Thank you very much. Again, my question, why did you start doing YouTube videos? Again, we've already answered this one, but I shall answer it again in case you haven't watched the previous 100 videos of this Q&A. 3,000 White Dragon. Did a competition back in 2011 to show your army. And like I said, I had an army, had a Blood Angel army, not as extensive as I do today, but had one. And I just finished my Thunderhawk, and I thought, I'm going to show my army and show my Thunderhawk, and into this competition. I didn't win the competition, but that's what started me doing YouTube videos. And it's all been downhill from there, to be fair. So yeah, I know I enjoy doing the YouTube videos now, but that's why I started. Reality Bite 16, great contest. How did I miss that video? Which one? Glad I found this one. So he must have missed my original giveaway video and then seen the reminder video. So that was worth putting a reminder video up to get Reality Bites in here. His question is, do servitors dream of electric groks? Don't know. Yes. Seth Harley, I've always wondered how you can continue to paint Blood Angels. You're not the first person to wonder that. I've been following your videos for a long time, and I've always enjoyed watching your army grow. And just wanted to know, how do you keep painting the glorious crimson of the Blood Angels? I think it's some sort of loyalty. Like I said, I'm so heavily invested in it now, and I think an excuse to paint Death Watch is good, because I can paint something different, which keeps it interesting for me. But I can keep the point cost down. I can do 2,500, 3,000 points, and probably get them on one shelf of this cabinet, which will mix things up for me. A lot of the Death Watchers, specific characters, and you can basically take whatever you want. So you're not restricted to painting 10 Tactical Marines or 10 Assault Marines or 10 Devastators, all with the same sort of setup. You can give them whatever loadout you want, which is piques my interest. So yeah, I'm kind of committed to the Blood Angels, to Sanguinius. So yeah, so that's why I keep doing it, because I'm so invested in it. But I do like them. I do like the lore. I like the stories. I read Fear to Tread, which just kind of motivated me more, I think. Just the story was fantastic. The portrayal of the characters was really, really interesting. Like I said, I travel around the country for my job, and like audiobooks. So I've got Fear to Tread on audiobook, and I just chuck it in the car and just listen to it. It's brilliant. So yes. So John Finucane, congratulations on 2K. Here's to the next 38. Have you ever considered creating a homebrew chapter? I have not. Marty Milligan, nice work on the subs, Mike. Do you have a favourite Blood Angel fluff-wise and favourite model-wise? So again, my favourite model, Cerastus Knight, I think. Just, yeah. Again, if I do the next video, if someone asks me that later down, I might have looked in the cabinet and might like something else. But at the moment, while I'm thinking and looking, Cerastus Knight's my favourite model. Blood Angel, Fluff. Again, Fear to Tread. I mean, I love the tale of Sigma's Prime. I just love that story. It's really, really interesting. I mean, and to get into a Blood Angels fan, Blood Angel collector, just kind of putting it all into kind of, you know, a story of what happened to them and why they became who they are, and the learning of the flaw of the Blood Angels. It's just really interesting and intriguing. I'm looking forward to kind of more tales about the Blood Angels. So there we go. Shane Smith, well done on subs, Mike. For my question, what is the worst model you have ever worked on, or the one that fought you the most? The worst model I've ever worked on fought me the most. Again, because I build models stock, I don't think I've really... Oh no, I tell a lie. Again, it wasn't that bad, to be fair. The Spartan assault tank from Forge World. I understand now that the two sides come with the treads, the tracks already fitted. It's just a single cast. When I bought mine, you had to put the tracks on, and they don't fit. They don't fit, and you've got to finesse them into place. So that was a pain in the ass, basically. Yeah, real pain in the backside that was. So yeah. So that was probably the worst. Yeah, and again, but it's a lovely model. I mean, now that I think the tracks are, like I say, are part of the sides. I mean, that would be a fantastic model to get now. So yeah, I mean, that's probably the worst fit of something I had. But everything else, I mean, I do enjoy the process. I enjoy taking my time. I enjoy putting it together. I enjoy the creation of it. Again, that Storm Eagle I made recently, which I've did a little video series on, that's a pain in the backside to fit. I think the mixture of plastic and resin components that don't quite fit together, loads of fettling. So, I mean, I suppose it did fight me, but I knew what I was doing, so you kind of win the fight ultimately. But when, in my experience at least anyway, when you've got plastic and resin components to put together and they need to fit flush and tight, that probably fights you the most. So yeah, but again, enjoying it. You know, that's my key to it. You know, these models are expensive, and enjoying the process is part of it for me, really. Okay, Jonas Lovecore, what's the hardest model you ever built? Hardest model I ever built. Do you know what? And back to Shane Smith's thinking about that, actually, probably the Thunderhawk, actually. And again, when I'm talking about plastic and resin components fitting together, the Thunderhawk is all resin. And I think depending on the Thunderhawk you get, depending on how new the mold is, that can be a bit of a pain, actually. And I think back then when I built it, I was much less experienced. We're talking 5 years ago now. So I think, and it was expensive. I mean, it's expensive now. I mean, I'm sure I only paid about 295 quid for it at the time. It's near £400 now. But yeah, that I think that was at the time. I think that was the hardest model I built. That was a real pain to put together. But again, taking your time, and it came out fine. But yeah, probably the Thunderhawk actually at the time. Demon Jester J, awesome on the 2,000 subscribers. What was your first mini, and do you still have it? I think I mentioned this again, I'm pointing up my list on my screen here. The first mini I ever had was a Minotaur from Games Workshop. I played D&D back in the day, used Games Workshop miniatures, fantasy range to represent your character, to represent monsters and stuff. And used to play with my mates. My mate's dad was a dungeon master, and we'd paint up models to take to D&D, and a Minotaur might appear or whatever. So, but I sort of had a collection of just miniatures that I used to paint. So this Minotaur was was my very first miniature, and I was so pleased with the paint job. And I remember painting up Skaven for like Rat Men for D&D. I do still have the Minotaur. It's in the attic. I'm probably going up there at Christmas time, so to get Christmas decorations down, have a bit of a clear out. So if I can find it, I will do a video and show it to you. So thank you. Shane W says, "Hey Mike, I'm a huge BA fan and collector, so I was wondering what got you into collecting and painting Blood Angels?" Again, see previous answer. White Dwarf article by Andy Chambers, 2,510 point list, which I lusted after, which I wanted to create with the old first Space Marines that were out in the Rogue Trader box set 1. That's what got me into it. Really piqued my interest, really inspired me. And if you watch video 1, I think, or 2, I've got the ripped out pages of that White Dwarf. Like I said, why I didn't just keep the issue of White Dwarf, I'm not really sure. But maybe I ripped it out of a friend's issue of White Dwarf. Might well have done that. But I've still got the ripped out pages of this Blood Angel army that inspired me. So that's what got me into it. And like I said, now I'm so invested in it. It's just overwhelming. But yeah, I really like it. I like having that display. I mean, it pleases me. Okay, Stephen Fisher. I've enjoyed watching your victory build. I started my build 4 months ago. I'm in the midst of cutting the lower gun ports. Quite tedious. What was/is the most difficult part of your victory build? Yeah. What was or is? I think at the time, again, like you said, I think planking was difficult for me, really. It's very specific in the instructions. Those of you that don't know, I've got a playlist about HMS Victory. It's a part work from D'Agostini, 120 issues, 180 4-scale HMS Victory, which I'm building from scratch, basically. So it's built around a framework, kind of a frame, and you plank it with strips of wood, which you need to shape and cut into place. And the instructions are quite specific about how you need to cut things, how you need to taper planks, how you need to install steelers to make the planking lovely. And I think I got really caught up in the planking and getting it right. Because it's my first wooden ship build, I was quite obsessive in trying to get it right and wasn't quite getting it right. So I think planking, when you get to it, planking the underside of the hull up to the stern is hard. Well, it's not hard. It's just it's just you just need to take your time, and it takes so long. It feels like it's harder than it is, I think. But actually, once you've done it and you realise, actually, I can. Well, I've painted mine. I've painted mine copper. So if it wasn't good enough to be fair to keep bare wood, and I think if I built another one, I would be able to do it better. But once you're in it and doing it, you're kind of stuck with what you've got. I mean, you can remove planks, but I wasn't going to do that, to be honest. So yeah, planking I think was the hardest thing. Everything else has come together quite nicely, and the D'Agostini instructions are spot on, and a really good entry build for the complete novice. I mean, I'd never done it before, and the results are fantastic. And also, I mean, the masts, the building of the masts is very time consuming. The building of the yard arms, very time consuming. And the difficulty is relative, I suppose, to your experience. But yeah, I mean, it does take you every step of the way. So yeah, I mean, each bit you do is more difficult in your head than the last, just because you haven't done it before. But once you've done it, you're kind of on your way then. Okay. Congrats, Weblord601 says, congrats on 2,000 subs. My question is, are there any models you would like to see Games Workshop or Forge World make in the future? From Games Workshop, I'd like to see plastic Thunderhawk. I'd like to see plastic Titan Warhound. I'd like to see from Forge World more Blood Angel stuff. There are specific torsos and heads and shoulder pads, but Blood Angels haven't had any Forge World love yet because we're not there in the Horus Heresy series or the rule books, and certainly Sanguinius. I'm waiting on Sanguinius. I've got my order. As soon as that comes up for pre-order, that's me doing it. So yeah. Lady of Deception. Are you going to branch into other games later on? Drop Zone Commander or another war game? And again, I've already kind of mentioned this in previous vid. I was quite heavily invested into Drop Zone Commander, but no one wanted to play it, so I sold it. heavily invested in bolt action, and there are people who do play bolt action, but again, I wanted to consolidate my hobby life and finish what I painted, concentrate on my Blood Angels, concentrate on Victory, concentrate on other games. So what I'm concentrating on at the moment is my 40k Blood Angels, 40k Death Watch, Project Z, Walking Dead, kind of skirmish game, zombie game, Dead Man's Hand, which is a skirmish western game. So they're the main things I'm concentrating on at the moment. AVP, the board game. Never played it, but I love the minis. I mean, the minis are so iconic. It's I just like collecting the minis from that standpoint. So yeah. And then we'll go for the last question because we're on question 81. So this will be the last question for this video, and then the next video will be the last video. You're all cheering that he's going to finally do the blemmin' draw, and someone's going to win a prize or two. So Janne Leskinen, great job. Your hobby projects are neat. Thank you. If you could start any army, which would it be? I tend to, if I want to start it, I just sort of start it. So I mean, Blood Angels is my first love. Death Watch have piqued, like I say, really piqued my interest. So Death Watch I like, and I'm going to start. And then I suppose, if thinking broader, I would like to. Well, no, I wouldn't really like to, but I mean, the fantasy stuff, the chaosy stuff, Beastmen, and I think that harks back to like the Minotaur I was talking about. You know, that painting that Minotaur, painting the Beastmen, painting that kind of miniature. It's just something completely different. You know, it's not painting Marines, it's not painting Alien versus Predator stuff, it's not painting cowboys or Dead Man's Hand stuff, it's not painting zombies. It's just something a bit different again. So yeah, I think that's what it would be. So, question 81 done. We've got how many we got? 10 questions to go. Yes, we've 91 questions, aren't we? So we've got 10 questions to go. So that will finish the last video. Will be the next video will be the last video, and there we go. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on video 8. Is it 8? What video is this? Oh, I don't even know what video this is. I'm worn out, but there we go. Catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.